marriage.
All right, babe. Well, this is the marriage segment. We wanted to do a whole segment on marriage every week. And I know our main topic was on marriage, so it seems redundant. But specifically this topic, we wanted to keep going on your book. And the next chapter is titled Too Busy.
Too busy.
Too busy.
Which is a little bit ironic, seeing that this is kind of a really busy time in our lives.
It's a very busy time.
So.
We're going to have 3 marriages in 9 months. That's pretty busy. Helping take over a business at the same time, planning for a camp, and doing a podcast and all doing Bible study and there's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on.
But it's all good. But too busy. Why don't you explain a little bit about what you were saying in too busy?
Yeah, well, so I actually get into study. I find that word interesting.
You love that word.
It's in the Bible twice. And the first one is study to show thyself approved.
Right.
And then there's another time in the Bible where it says that we are to study to be quiet.
You keep using the word.
Yes.
I don't think it means what you think it means.
Well, I think a lot of people maybe don't. But, when you study something, it's like study is not just, a simple thing. It's like something,
You dig deep.
Yeah, you dig, you read over it and read over it and you read over it and you're trying to absorb something so that you can pass a test usually when you're in school.
Sure.
But so when it says study to be quiet, it's 1 Thessalonians 4:11, and that you study to be quiet and to do your own business and to work with your own hands as we commanded you. And so when I read that and realized, okay, we're supposed to study to be quiet, when I think of quiet, first you just think of no noise, right?
Right. That's the first thing I think of, just
be quiet. So it's like, okay, well, what does that mean? Study to be quiet. There's got to be a little more to it, or maybe it is just that. But when I looked up quiet, it's more than just without noise. It's without much activity, disturbance, or excitement, without being disturbed or interrupted, a peaceful or settled state of affairs. Still comes to mind. So it's like there's a lot more to it than just not noise. And I feel like in our American culture, this is something that's very difficult for us.
Yes.
And we just, everywhere we go, like we talked about earlier, just the distractions, the noise, the, alerts from our phone, from our computer, from everything.
Hold on. What'd you say? Let me check my,
And so I feel like it's very much, a difficult thing for us. But I feel like as a wife, as a Christian, as, whoever we are, I feel like it's very important that we are quiet and we learn to shut out the noise.
Right.
And for each one of us, that can be different. Whether it's, some people have like no phone time for a while or they, whatever. But even, since it's about marriage, I feel like especially in marriage, it's important to have some time where you can shut off the noise and you can just enjoy the quiet. And as far as like being too busy, I think sometimes we're just so quick to accept everything that comes our way and just take it like, okay, well, I guess we're going to do that and we're going to go here and we're going to do this. And, and it's like, sometimes I think we need to stop and really consider what we're doing and what we need to do. And sometimes it's okay to say, no, we're going to skip out on that. We're not going to do that.
It's okay. You don't have to have FOMO. You don't have to have the fear of missing out. It's okay to miss out on some things.
Right.
And we miss out on a lot. We decided early on with raising our kids that we weren't going to run around and stress ourselves out so they can go to soccer practice or this, that. You know what? They have plenty of friends and they play sports out in the backyard and they don't need anything necessarily organized. Generations and generations, they were just fine.
Yeah.
But we clutter our time so much. Maybe if you have one child, you can do that.
Yeah,
but
maybe.
we couldn't. We had 7, and it's a lot, and just raising 7 kids. I know that this is going to be an eye shocker, it's a shocker to everyone out there. It's a lot. And if we fill our times with busyness and just noise, we even took the noisy toys and cut the noise, the things that
Take
made
the batteries out of them.
Right. People would buy us noisy toys, and I'm like, thanks, and we would cut the wires. And I think Jeremiah figured out how to solder them back on. I don't know. But no, we didn't like just noise to have noise. We didn't have a TV on. We didn't have TV really growing up with the kids. And so that wasn't playing in the background. We might have music playing in the background. We always had music. But there's times to just stop.
Yeah, well,
Stop.
And it's just when you talk to just about anybody, one of the first things that you hear from them is,
Too busy.
I'm just busy.
I'm busy.
I'm busy, and I get it. And I'm, I can be guilty of that too. But and with it comes so much stress,
Yep.
and the stress isn't good for your marriage. It's not good for your relationship with God. You know, the Bible says to be still and know that I'm God. And I think there's a time to just be still, to be quiet, to wait on God. And I think we've lost that. And so I think it's very important that we look at our schedules, we look at what we're putting on our plate, and we take some things off and say, you know what, I don't have time for that.
Especially like, no, you're speaking to women.
Yeah.
And in your book, and would you say that, specifically for women, I know not all women today are the same, and some aren't exactly homemakers,
right?
But to the women specifically who are, raising kids and things like that, they get caught up in the rat race of this world where we got to keep up with what's going on, and they lose sight of what's good and what our duty is on this earth, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think, because, for men, they have to go out and work, and, so there's whatever
Hopefully.
busyness. Yeah,
Right.
Hopefully. Whatever busyness comes with that. But for women, we have a lot of freedom. And, especially, you could, even as a Christian, a godly woman, you can get caught up just talking to people, and, you feel like it's for counsel, which kind of like what we talked about. And there's a time and place for that. But there's also a time where it's like, I can't help.
You got to cut that out.
I can't help everybody. My kids need me right now. And so I can't just be available to answer everybody's questions all day long. I need to just shut my phone off or put it in another room or something. And I'm just going to spend some time with my kids. And I think it's foreign. And I mean, when our kids were all young, I didn't have a phone for the first I don't know how many years.
Right.
And then when
Probably
I finally
beneficial.
did, I mean, it was, just starting out. So it wasn't.
Yes, it's hard to get in touch with her sometimes.
But, it's like when I would take the kids to the park, I was actually there. I was with them. So, and I see so many moms, and, they'll be sitting there at the park, and the kid's like, Mom, look at me. Mom, look at me. And they'll, repeat it again and again and again. And it's sad because I look over, I see the mom, and she's just on her phone and like, I see you. But she doesn't even look up. And I'm like,
right.
You're going to regret that one day. And so I feel like, I don't know what's so important on your phone that you can't put it aside for a little time and be with your kids or be with your husband. And, so it's like the busyness hurts everybody. It hurts you, and it hurts every relationship that you have. And so I think it's very important that we evaluate what we're doing and our time and cut things out if necessary, which is probably necessary most of our lives, because we end up so busy when we try not to. I mean, we don't sign our kids up for sports and, all the extracurricular stuff. And yet we still find ourselves busy. I mean, it just doesn't matter who you are.
Life gets busy, and, that is just part of life. But sometimes we make it more busy than it should. And
absolutely.
It's like we got to, as Christians specifically, being a Christian show here, that we got to realize that, hey, what's our first priority here? And so that's what we're talking about. And so, hey, it's time to slow down. Or what was the title again?
Too busy.
Too busy. That's right. So, yeah.
So, yeah, you have to think for yourself. What does that verse mean in 1 Thessalonians? Study to be quiet.
Study to be quiet. I know you like that study, and those two studies. Study the show yourself approved, and then study to be quiet. So anyway, hopefully that helped there. That is our marriage. I don't even know what we call this segment, Joshua. Have we come with the title? We were just talking about marriage, right? That's the marriage segment. So anyway, that's it for this. And we thank you for, this wasn't really the Mike Charleston show. I guess it was the Mike and Sarah show today. It was just us. And I kind of like it like that. I do miss Chuck and Larry, though. They bring something to the table here. And anyway, hopefully they'll be back the next week. And we'll see you guys next week. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening.